Hi, welcome back to episode 4 of My Mother's Diaries. We are so excited that we're on our 4th episode, and if you've listened to the past 3 and you're about to listen to the 4th, thank you. If you're one of our 5 listeners, we love you. I have a special guest here for the intro today.
Hello, everybody.
Clod's here, and we wanted to give you a little hint about what today's episode's about, other than the title, which pretty much gives it away.
It's about accidents, and it's about how I, in my life, have been an accidental liar, an accidental thief, an accidental scatterbrain.
I'm going to cut you off there.
Okay.
Think bats, mice, and the Heimlich remover. Remover?
Let's get into it. So I've been thinking about how sometimes I have a propensity for accidentally misspeaking or telling lies.
Yeah, and I'm very aware of that.
You are?
Because you've lied to me a lot.
I have not lied to you a lot. Maybe a few fibs through the years.
Yeah, but I guess you've unintentionally lied to me. A lot.
There was when I was little, there was this father that lived on our street, and he was
father. There was a father that lived on our street. Yeah. Okay, carry on.
And he was grumpy, and I didn't like him. And I told him to go to hell.
Well, how old were you?
I said he was grumpy, and I didn't like him, and I told him to go to hell because he was grumpy, and I didn't like him. And I think he didn't want me at his house at all. It was a bad influence on his kids or something. But I swore up and down, that I only said, go to L. That was my story, and I'm sticking to it. And that was not an accidental lie. That was an on-purpose lie.
Ooh, this leads me into a story about high school where my high school boyfriend was not allowed to drive my car, which was so weird because I didn't live in a household that had many rules. But, the ones I did have were very random. But my stepdad swears he saw my boyfriend driving my car.
Yeah, I was with him, I think.
He never did. Not once. He did not drive it. Never. We were always in his car. He didn't.
Okay. So, I was at my stepdaughter's wedding, your stepsister's wedding, and it was a glorious day. It was a fancy outdoor main event, and it was really fun and beautiful and all the things that weddings we would hope them to be. And I came back and said to my friend, telling her all the details of the wedding, and I said it was a beautiful wedding right on the ocean. And I kept talking, and then about 5 minutes later, I realized what I'd said. It was not on the ocean. I don't know why I said it was on the ocean.
It wasn't even close to the ocean.
It wasn't even close to the ocean. Was there even a water view?
No. It was in a field in a barn.
Yeah.
In locked land. Central Maine.
I don't know why. Now that was 10 years ago, so, I probably told a few accidental lies and maybe a few on purpose lies since then.
Probably.
But it's more like now where I just misspeak.
Yeah, a lot though.
Yeah.
There's a lot of small
come out
lies.
funny.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
I've had a lot of other kinds of accidents through my life because I've always been a little bit spacey, or I'm multitasking, or I'm trying to do too many things at once. And for instance, when you're a teacher, especially when you're a middle school teacher, you've got a bazillion things happening at once. Kids coming up to your desk, kids sneaking out of the room, kids throwing paper airplanes,
Kids getting locked in their closet without you knowing.
Yeah, that was just a minor accident. Just a little thing. So this was fairly early in my teaching career, and I taught for, do you know how many years I taught?
I actually don't. Was it like 37?
No.
Oh.
44.
You act like that was a crazy guess. It's pretty close.
That was it was 7 long years difference. Anyway, so this is
44.
early in my teaching career, and I was always exhausted at the end of the day. Couldn't even think straight, and I had a student for detention. His name was John, and he came up to me and said, Mrs. So-and-so, the science teacher, says I can have 2 of the white mice to take home. I think that was probably my reaction, your facial expression.
Just picturing you immediately with mice is hilarious.
Exactly. So he said, can I go down and get them from her room before I start detention? And I said, what are you putting them in? And he said, a bucket. And I stupidly said, and I know this because I wrote about it in my diary. And I stupidly said, is there a cover? And can they get out of the bucket? And I think he said they can't get out of the bucket, but there wasn't a cover, okay? So I said, you can go down to the science room and you can I'm using my teacher's voice, and you can get those mice in a bucket and you can put them in the closet in the other classroom.
What is happening?
Have you heard this story?
No. I'm on the edge of my seat.
So, and then I said, and I know this because it's in my diary, I said in my typical teacher voice, but your 30-minute detention does not start until you're back in this room.
Wait.
That's not the end of the story.
Okay.
So,
I was like, this is a terrible story.
So he leaves the room, goes down with the bucket. I don't think he showed me the mice in the bucket. I wouldn't have had any interest. It'd be like, I'm not good with creatures. Or animals.
Did you consider
really.
me a creature?
Yeah, yes, and I'm not good with you. So he came back to my room, duly settled in, served his half-hour detention. Time was up, and he took off, whatever, and I took off, and I went home. So the next day, I woke up, and I did not feel well at all, and so I had to call in sick. And so there was a substitute, and my team partner, we had invited another class to come in our room and watch an old movie called Johnny Tremaine. It's set during the Revolutionary War time, and we would have been watching it because this was in the 70s. We were watching it on a projector, but I wasn't there. But so there's 40 kids because it was my teaching partner Liz, and there were 40 kids that we shared in the classroom. And so she's sort of in charge of the 40 kids, and she's trying to get everything set up, and we're having another class come in the room when my student John, who'd taken the mice home, so I thought, comes up to her and says, Miss Bonzi let me put mice in the closet last night. Can I go get them? And she's like, what? And he said, Miss Bonzi let me put mice, and she's like, what did you have them in? Just a bucket? And so the other classes coming in the room, the substitute for me apparently was really good looking, and the girls were all drooling over him. But the big problem was there was $500 worth of candy bars in that closet. Because we were doing a fundraiser. And we were raising money to go to an outdoor education camp for a week. And our primary fundraiser was these candy bars that I think they cost back then, they were 50 cents a piece. And so, it was a really big closet. So she's trying to get the movie started. She's trying to do this, and she's like, how, to herself, I'm sure she was thinking, what in the world was Lynn thinking? Letting him leave mice overnight, which of course I had completely forgotten there were mice in the closet.
Yeah, you probably forgot about 2 minutes after he asked.
Yeah, let me see if I've got my diary entry here about what happened next. Let's see.
The moment he asked you to put mice in the closet. Oh my god. She has a folder. I just want everyone to know that she has a folder that says Classroom Mice 71.
So I'm going to rewind the story a little bit, and just because this is what I wrote out more contemporaneously in 1984. Well, put them in the closet then, I said. I thought John was going to take them home in 30 minutes when his detention was over. I gave him the keys to my closet and completely forgot about them. I forgot about them through the dismissal of my detentions. I forgot about them as I sat with 6 teachers and my principal in a meeting right outside that closet. I forgot that part. And I forgot about them as I sat in my next meeting, a PET. I even forgot about them as I lay sick in bed. Most unbelievably of all, I forgot about them when I was thinking about how that closet needed to be cleaned out as I lay in bed that night, headachy and wheezing. Indeed, I forgot about them until Liz called to see how I was feeling and tell me about what happened. So I'm skipping down because I've already repeated this. So the student went up to her and asked about his mice, and together they went in the closet. The bucket was there. The mice were not.
Dun dun. Oh.
And as I wrote here, understand that there is approximately $2,500 worth of candy bars in that closet. And all Liz could think about was that the mice had been in there all night without water or food, and they'd somehow gotten into the candy. But her immediate concern was finding the mice. Thoughtful.
Yeah. I was thinking about the mice too.
So once the kids were all settled in and watching the movies, Liz noticed a student whose name was Brian and another kid looking at the floor, and she went into a panic. She asked the substitute if he thought the mice could get out from the crack of the door, and he said, maybe. As Johnny Tremaine and his friends searched for those nasty redcoats, they searched for those tiny little white mice in the closet. Oh, another word about the closet. It is a mess, which is putting it mildly. And then I finished this up really neatly. I said, just as in the movies, life does occasionally have a happy ending. Some mice were found. Liz went to the science teacher's room to get an aquarium to put them in, and he was reluctant to give it to her. She insisted, and he said to her, I'll give this to you. After all, what does Bonzi know about mice?
He's got a point.
Yeah, he had a big point.
Clearly. Oh my god. I've never heard that story before.
It was crazy.
That is wild. And also, so was that in 71?
No, that was actually
Is that why you wrote that?
I'm embarrassed.
Is that an accidental lie?
No, it was February. I wrote this on February 9th, 1984.
Okay.
And it happened on February 8th, 1984. Thursday at 5:45
You accidentally... Oh, I thought you accidentally lied.
No.
Okay, that's when
But
you
I probably
wrote
will before the end of this episode.
Yeah.
But, no, I wrote it the day I stayed home sick. That's just us in the classroom.
Oh, okay.
It's not really a good picture. But,
oh my god. That's fantastic.
that was almost disastrous. What if all that candy... I mean, $2,500 worth of candy in 1984 probably would be like $5,000 worth of candy now. And we did sell
Did
at
they eat all
least
of it?
$5,000 worth of candy. Well, what happened was
Were they roly-poly?
kids, we would give kids $24 worth at a time or $48 worth at a time to sell. When they were supposed to turn it in, but
Why did that kid put the mice in the bucket? Why
it was
did
the teacher who did it.
what?
Where was he supposed to put it in his pocket?
I don't know, but why is he putting them anywhere except for in
He's
a
taking them home.
Oh. I missed that part.
I think I didn't make that clear.
Like, what? Who's putting the why? Who? What? Where? Why?
I know. I didn't.
No, it wasn't you. I think I zoned out.
Okay, you zoned out.
Yeah.
It wasn't that great of a story.
No, I was just like thinking about you with. I get triggered because our childhood home had mice.
Yeah. No, I'm not a mice
And I
person.
just remember them running across your feet and you screaming
Yeah.
and
Well,
hearing
it
them in the
wasn't
walls, and they're like,
I called up a 7th grade student to see if he would come over and go up in the attic and try to get some mice.
at our house. I remember you called a student to get a bat removed.
Oh, maybe that's an accidental lie. Maybe it was a bat.
Oh my god. This is nothing. Yeah, I think it was the bat. I remember the bat.
Maybe it wasn't the mice.
Wait, I remember we had our front door open in our childhood home, and now that you know she's not an animal person, our neighbor, like down the street, a girl that was in my brother's class in the like 7th or 8th grade at the time, who my mom is her teacher, their family dog walked into our front door and laid down on the carpet, and I just remember my mom being like, oh my god, I don't know what to do. Oh,
Good
god.
timing.
Yeah, god. Hey, she's just taking a walk. Let her walk. A woman had the audacity to walk by our window. But I remember you were like, stay right there, stay on the stairs. Yeah, you wouldn't let me come downstairs. And till the dog would get out, and you had to have someone come and get it. Meanwhile, I just want to describe this dog. It was a like chubby, happy black lab. It was like wagging its tail. It was like wagging its tail, just laid down. It was being so well behaved. It just happened to walk into a house that was open. And my mom's like, oh my god, we need to get this dog out of here.
You know who came and helped me?
Who?
I literally walked to my aunt's house.
Who lived behind us?
Who lived behind us and said, can you please come over and get this random dog out of my house?
Were you crying?
No, I don't think so.
And meanwhile, I was like begging my mom to let me get a dog and told her I'd keep it in my room. Oh my god. You got any more? You've already lied like 15 times in this episode.
The audience is not going to trust a word that comes out of my mouth.
Yeah,
from
nor
now on.
should they.
I've got plenty of stories where there were accidents involved.
All right, what's your next one?
Well, this is more recent. This is really kind of embarrassing.
We're ready for it. I think this is about the time. We're 19 minutes in, I think. I think it's time.
It's not wildly hysterical, but it was pretty embarrassing. So, I came home from work one day a couple years ago, and my husband said, have I got a story for you? Actually, he texted me that, and I'm like, and he made me wait till I got home. You know how I am with stories.
Yeah.
Pretty excited. Kind of made my day that he had a story.
Yeah.
I didn't know it involved me.
We usually call each other immediately after something happens. And when something bad's happening, we're like, this is going to be a good story.
Yeah, sometimes. Not always when something bad happens.
Yeah, but like a lot of times I'm like, you know what's worth it for the story.
We'll be laughing about this later, we'll
Yeah.
say. So my husband's home, and he gets a knock on the door, and they're asking for me. And did I live there? And I feel sorry for my husband. But he was apparently okay. And then the police officer said, well, the reason that my husband said, yes, she lives here. Yes, what can I do to help you?
So it was a cop.
Yes.
Okay.
And this is what had happened. So when my dad died, when your grandfather died, he had a lot of old books and so forth, and documents and so forth, and he had been a town manager in Falmouth and in several other municipalities, and so we had town reports, which are annual reports that are put out by the town, like back to the 50s for different. And so what I decided I would do would be to donate them to the historical societies in those towns, or if I couldn't find the historical society, I would send it directly to the town hall. So I had done that with 2 or 3 sets of town reports, and then the last one that I was sending, the last ones, there were like maybe 8 of them, I had procrastinated on. And the reason I procrastinated on it is because I hate handwriting anything. Because
awful handwriting.
Terrible.
Really, really bad.
I can't read my handwriting.
Yeah. Think of bad handwriting and then make it tweak it to 20% worse. And that's her handwriting.
Yeah. So it's just really hard for me I have to take my time like a 5-year-old and be very careful. Well, apparently I didn't think about it, so I wrap these things up. Oh, and how I wrap packages?
Awful. Just awful.
Not really good with fine motor skills.
No. But you know what? You make up for it in your lies.
My accidental lies.
Yeah, in your humor.
So finally one day I'm like, I gotta mail these right now. So I get them in a box and I wrap. I don't remember exactly what I used, but probably an old box. And
you probably used a Christmas box from 1983 because you do keep boxes to reuse them.
So, and I put my return address on there. I'm positive that I put my return address, and I wrote Falmouth Town Hall. I don't know exactly what I wrote for an address, but I had the correct address for where I was sending it. And felt so good. Went down, mailed them, got that off my chest, and moved on to the next thing. So what happened was they received it at the town hall, and they flagged it in the town hall as a suspicious package. And so I guess the town administrator's office alerted the police and said, we don't dare to open this package because we don't know who this person is. So they called the Bucksport police. The Bucksport police looked to find where I lived, if I indeed lived in that area, and came to the house to find out if I was trying to do something horrible.
Were you?
No. That's the only time that my handwriting really got me in that bad trouble.
Suspicious handwriting.
I'm glad I wasn't home. I would have had a heart attack if I saw a police officer coming down to the driveway and coming to my door.
You went from accidental liar to accidental terrorist.
So have you ever done anything that's accidental?
Oh my god. Probably. Why can't I think of a single thing? I'm so immersed in your life right now.
What about when you stole those things? Accidentally.
Oh, okay. I don't know if anyone else can relate, but when you do something bad when you're a kid and you get punished for it, you think about it a lot as an adult, or is that just unprocessed trauma? So,
was that an actual question to me?
Kind of.
Okay.
What was that?
It was you getting in trouble a lot and having a lot on your mind for all the guilty things you did.
Yeah, when I was 5.
Yeah.
So my uncle took my cousin and I to this hardware store. Cousin and me. Took us to the hardware store, and we're 5. We're both the same age, and he had to get whatever he was getting at the hardware store, as you do. But it's a little Ace Hardware, and I picture it in my head. I may be accidentally lying through this whole thing too, but I picture it in my head as being near your house.
Yeah, it was. It was in Bucksport.
Okay. So we were 5, and we went in, and we were doing what 5-year-olds do, like touching every little thing in there and being absolutely annoying. And just to set the tone or let you know some backstories, my cousin and I have very similar personalities and are equally as annoying. So when we're together,
She might not appreciate that when she hears this.
I think she will.
Okay.
I'll send her this clip.
Okay.
So when we're together, it's like we can just be in our own little world. You actually said this recently. We went to visit her and her baby a couple days ago, and she was like, "You guys were so loud."
Yes,
and we're just in our own little world. We don't know what's going on. We're just happy to be there. But we were trying on, like little kids' sunglasses that they have on display, and so my uncle, similarly to my mom and everyone in our family, is kind of scattered and, like, probably just, like, I'm gonna buy these things, like, get the kids in the car, like, trying to focus on 80 different things. So once we get in the car, he turns it on, he looks back, and I can't remember if Courtney had, I think she did. We're both wearing sunglasses, suddenly. And so I just remember him lecturing us on, like, we need to go in, not in, like, an awful way, just, like, you need to go in and, like, say sorry, like, we took these, and say you didn't mean to, or whatever. And I just remember the, like, guilt I had in my heart. Like, when you're looking for your sunglasses, and they're just on your head?
Yeah.
But that's the feel. I remember, like, being like, oh my god, I took these without even knowing. So I started young as an accidental thief.
Yes. Yes. I accidentally did something similar when your brother was really young. He was in a stroller. I was at the mall, and I went into a CVS, and he was, I don't know if he was crying or not, but I was your typical stressed mother with a baby, and I got a juice, and then I bought a few items at the front register, and didn't pay for. I realized when I got out that I hadn't paid for the juice, which probably happened. I did go back, I think.
You did go back?
Yeah, sure.
I think we do have some sort of, like, I will go
Well,
back
definitely
and say something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, yeah.
I wouldn't be able to live with it. I don't even know if it's that. If it's, like, a big box store, then I'm like, it's like, I should be like, who cares? But...
No, you shouldn't. It's called stealing.
But I just can't live with it. I think I'm gonna get karma immediately.
Yeah, exactly. You get that from me.
Yeah.
You get what you
give. I gotta go give it back. Try to give it back. I remember I went out to a bar one night with my friends, and we were there's like a part where you walk over this step to get into a dance floor area from the bar, and I step, and then my friend's right behind me, and she steps and she looks down, and there's a wad of cash. And it was like $200. And
wow.
I was like, oh my god, like, I can't believe I just walked over $200. And I was definitely needed money. And then...
You didn't even pick it up?
No, I didn't see it. She just was like, oh my god, $200. Found it, picks it up, and she tries to give it to... She's like, to the bartender, like, oh, we found this wad of cash. Thinking, like, maybe it was like a waitress or something, or the bartenders. And he was like, just keep it. So... Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of those
karmic
situations
justice
that is tricky. I mean...
Oh my god. When we were little, at our camp, we have a family camp. I don't know if we've talked about that in other episodes, but we have this family camp, and all of us little kids were out taking a walk one day, and we found this wallet full of cash. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
And then we tried to return it. There was no, like... We couldn't find any sort of identification. It was just like a wad of cash in this Velcro wallet. And so all of the parents let us split it up. So we all got like probably...
A chunk of cash.
Yeah, probably like
kid.
$5 or whatever. And we went to there's a little store at this campground called Kokotosi that we would go. And we used to get kicked out of a lot. But then they gave up and built us stairs that go down into it. Because you have to walk through the woods.
Yep.
Do you remember that?
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, I remember that being the best thing ever. Just finding cash. I still love it. I found $1 in my pocket yesterday. I was so excited.
Think about the pennies that I've collected through the years.
She's been collecting pennies
Found pennies
my
on the
whole
ground.
life, and she gets so excited. And she's always said it's for my college fund. I've never seen a single penny of it for my college fund. Her, like, $3 she's collected.
No, I'm guessing there's probably at least $20 in there now of pennies, because I've been doing it for like
You have it in
20
the same
years.
You have it in the same
I'd probably
spot?
find like 100 cents a year.
100?
A year, maybe.
100 a
Because
year?
there's some, it's not just pennies, it's quarters. I've even got like a dollar bill in there. And I even have a little note. If you lift it up, it says something to the effect of, I'm not kidding, this money goes to Hillary when I die.
Watch out, world.
I want to
Watch out, world.
You get what I promised you all these years.
That's amazing. I didn't know that.
And now I have trouble bending over when I'm walking. And but man, if I see a penny, I bend over to get that penny.
Yeah,
It's like-
sometimes
it's like a
I'll,
thing.
like, she'll be talking to me and we're just walking along, like, going somewhere, and then she's suddenly silent. Suddenly silent.
Yeah, because I can't talk when I'm bending over.
Yeah, you
I
just
can't do two
and
things
then
at once
and then
anymore.
I'm like walking, and then I turn around and she's like a mile away, still bending down, trying to probably bend back up because she had to get the penny she saw.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah. What other accidents? There've been many. Let me see what other ones I want to talk about. Well, I accidentally misspoke. Okay, so a couple. This again, I felt like this podcast was going to be silly stuff I did when I was younger, but I realized the silliness never stopped.
No, I mean I've only known you in your adulthood, and it's been a pretty silly lifetime for me with you.
So one night I was home alone, and my husband was away.
You get it? Okay, cool.
My husband was away, had been away for a while, and I thought there was somebody in our garage.
Oh my god.
And it was freaky. And it was like, I don't know what time it was. I want to say 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock at night. It was dark. And so I didn't know my neighbors very well at all. They were nice people. We'd met them a few times, but I really didn't know them very well. But I did have their phone number in case of an emergency. And I guess maybe somebody being in your garage would be an emergency when you're home alone. That was your cue. So I called them, and they answered, and they came right over, and I was shaky, like, I don't know, I don't understand what happened. And then I was trying to call Gil and
Her husband, my stepdad.
right, and he finally he asked me. We finally got on the phone, and I'm still standing in the kitchen with my neighbors, and a husband and wife, and we'll call them. I don't know why I don't want to use their real names, but I don't have their permission. So we'll call them
Deborah and Jim.
Okay, we'll call them Deborah and Jim. So Jim asked me to find the remote for the garage, which I had right there, and I hadn't been able to get it to work. But together we got it to work. So Gil goes, "Did you try to close the garage door?" And I said, I meant to say automatically, but I said, "Yes, Jim and I closed it romantically." And then, like, I'm already like, like I get when I'm in an emergency. And his wife is looking at me, and I'm trying to, I'm laughing. I'm saying to Gil, "I don't mean romantically, I mean automatically." So, yeah.
Intrusive thought or Freudian slip. Oh
It
my
wasn't
god.
a Freudian slip. It was just my brain.
Was this
freaking out.
the same time where you ended up going to Florida, but then I visited you, and then we checked your your security camera footage?
Oh,
And
yes.
he walked up the stairs and tripped a little bit. And then we
The
watched
same
it.
poor neighbor.
We watched it about 20 times and could not stop laughing. Because the moment he trips, he realizes your garage door is open again. So he's like,
Yeah.
oh my god. Okay, I remember you wanted to talk about how you gave someone the Heimlich, but they didn't need it?
I think you just told the story. Thank you. You had a little plot there. You had me and one other person. You had the action, and then you had the resolution, but they didn't
What
need
can I
it.
say? I'm a storyteller.
Yes, you are, but you have to slow down a little bit. Yes. Again. This is probably back in 1984, right around the mice time.
Sorry.
What?
I have more to say about that.
About the mice?
No, about the Heimlich.
Okay. While I'm telling the story?
Nope.
Okay.
After, I just need to remember.
So, I was at a meeting. Well, first of all, I have to rewind and tell the story. Your brother was 6 months old.
Mm-hmm.
And so was my nephew, 6 months old. So my sister and I decided it would be a good idea to take a CPR class. Learn about how to save somebody in the event of a heart event or how to stop them from choking. And at the same time, I was getting ready to apply for grad school and was about to take something called the Miller's Analogy Test. So I was practicing doing analogies. And you know what those are?
Yeah, something that alludes to something.
Close. Yes,
Why are you trying to make me feel... You're trying to make me look and feel stupid.
I was trying to get a laugh for you from the audience.
Does that help? Okay.
So, I was teaching full-time and working mother, blah, blah, blah. So we take this class every Monday night or whatever the time. And it was like, 7 sessions, 5 sessions, whatever. And so we were going to have a final test, but the week before, the instructor assured us that the final test would be simple and she was going to go over all the questions that night. And, as long as we paid attention and stuff, we'd do well. And so comes the next week and I sit down to take the test, and I'm sitting next to your sister, and it's multiple choice. It's 50 questions. I don't mean you.
I don't have a sister.
I don't mean your sister. I think we're proving the whole point here. I was sitting next to my sister.
Okay.
And it was 50 multiple choice. And I go through it, and and it's like golden, I thought. And looked over it. I got up to pass it in, and she's like, "You're done?" And I said, she couldn't believe how fast I had gone through it. So, then we went home, and the next week, the instructor, the professor of CPR, let me see if I guess I don't have my CPR folder there, comes out and passes back the test. Now, you couldn't miss more than 8. You could miss up to 8 and not flunk it. Passes back the test and informs the whole class that only one person flunked and needed to retake it, which was, guess who?
My sister?
I flunked the test. It says -10 and then retake. And my sister was feeling really bad for me, and I don't get embarrassed very often, but I realized based on what I wrote back then that I was a little embarrassed. I have a diary entry maybe over there. Can you get that green folder?
Yeah.
It's a little awkward. So while she's getting the green, it's either the green or the orange one, whatever
I'll bring a book.
CPR. So I'm like, what is wrong with me? And I didn't want to go back to the test to take it the next week. But based on my folder for CPR, no, that's the product one. Based on my folder for CPR, I actually went back because I have a certificate.
So you did pass.
I did pass.
Is it a lifetime pass?
No, you have to keep getting, no. So, yeah. Okay.
Wait, hold on. I like this.
So as you can see, retake.
Wait, hold on. Can I look at this?
Well,
Say,
those are the
there's
notes
no pulse. Not breathing. Wow,
That's my
okay.
handwriting on the back. All right. So that's the backstory. Believe it or not, that's not the main story.
Your handwriting's not so bad on that.
No,
But-
in case of an emergency.
Yeah.
So let's see. Oh, and so anyway, around that same time, I'm unclear about exactly, but around that same time, I was at a meeting and there were about 6 people. This was at school with my principal and with like one of her supervisors who I didn't care for and who was kind of, she just wasn't very warm and personable. And 2 or 3 teachers, and we were in a conference room, and the conference table basically took up the whole conference room. You know, it was a rectangular table, but it just took up a lot of space. The room was basically the table. And so we were having a meeting, and first of all, I was really nervous because it was my first meeting with this supervisor since I had become English department head. And I was just not feeling confident with myself, and we were talking about a situation, and I did not realize I mispronounced this when I said it. But I looked at this supervisor, and I said, I don't understand what the bra hoo hoo is at the high school. And then kept talking, babbling about something. Now I'm the English department head, right? And she, about a minute later, she says, well, the brew ha ha
Okay.
was this.
Brahoo.
So I'm dying. My face is red. My heart is pounding. And I'm like, I got imposter syndrome.
She went for you.
She went for me in a very, sort of undermining manner. It probably wasn't that bad, but in my head it was.
Yeah. Your memory's always worse.
Yeah. I won't say I was humiliated, but I'm like, oh my God, how could I have thought that was bra hoo hoo?
Bra hoo hoo could be the name of our bra episode.
True.
Yeah.
Good idea. So the meeting continues, and directly across from me, probably about 12 feet across from me, is one of the teachers that worked in my English department. And she starts, what I now realize was coughing, but I thought she was choking. So she's like, so I don't even say anything.
First of all, why is she coughing like that?
That probably wasn't an accurate depiction of what she was doing. But I thought she was choking. My head went right to, this woman is choking, and I have to save her.
Yeah.
I know CPR. So...
Had you passed the class at this point? Or is this pre-retaking?
Well, the timeline's a little fishy, but...
I like how close together
Yeah. So, I get up, and I'm not graceful to say the least. I have trouble. I've always had a little trouble walking, moving.
being graceful.
Being graceful. I'm going to bang my thighs around the first corner of the table, bump into the second corner, and get over behind the teacher. And the first thing you're supposed to say, are you choking?
Yeah.
Right? And if the person can't speak or does the universal, I think this is the universal sign for choking. If the person doesn't speak or does that, then you know they're choking. Mm-hmm. And that you should do the Heimlich. But I said, are you choking? I said, are you okay? Are you choking?
You said, are you choking?
Hey, you okay? No, and she said, no. But I was on to the next step, and I had my arms down underneath her with a fist, and I did the Heimlich.
How long?
A non-choking, once. And then I realized, then my brain caught up to the reality of the situation.
What was her reaction?
I don't really remember that clearly. I think I was probably so absorbed in my own now bra-hoo-hoo embarrassment between that and doing the Heimlich maneuver on somebody who was choking. I know.
This is why
my heart was in it in the right place.
This is now why her ringtone on her phone is the Curb Your Enthusiasm theme song.
And then the other thing I have in my diary is that when we did infant CPR, that the instructor could not stop laughing at me because the way I sat on the chair and put the baby down my leg was apparently the wrong way. And I'm like...
You had a baby at that point.
Right.
So this is why you did it, is because of Ryan, right?
Right.
Yeah.
I said, the group started laughing.
Oh.
And the instructor, whose name was Sarah, couldn't stop laughing. Yeah. I was just not sitting straight. And the whole group is laughing at me.
That is amazing. Well, I'm glad you passed. Do you have to retake that every however often? Or are you a CPR certified for life?
No, thank goodness. So this is the point that you need to see. Which one of the questions I missed?
Yeah.
On the test, ironically, but beautifully. Yeah. Read number 27.
27. A victim is coughing forcefully. Should you perform the Heimlich maneuver? A, yes. Jeez, am I going to have to perform it on you? A, yes. B, no. She wrote no.
No.
Oh, you're right.
Yes.
Yes.
So in the test I flunked, I had thought that somebody was coughing.
Well, no, that makes sense. So you actually performed. You thought you were right, and you were willing to stand by that answer. Oh my god, that is great.
Yeah,
perfect.
So one of my most embarrassing times.
Well, now I'm worried that I'm gonna have to take a CPR class.
Well, everybody should, but not if I'm teaching it.
No. You definitely should not be teaching it. Wait, I love seeing her little tabs on all of her folders because, this woman is not very organized, but she has been organized with this, and I appreciate that about you.
I have my grandfather's CPR certificates in there.
You do?
Yes.
Did he pass?
Oh, I think so.
Oh, I just wanted to note that little smiley face here. She has the manila folder. Well, it's green. And
Manila isn't a color.
Okay. Well, it is. Can it be a color?
Manila? It's a place in the Philippines.
I do know that. I thought it could be a color, too.
Well, we'll have to look that up, but I know it's not one of the primary ones.
Anyways, I just like her little notes on them.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that was good. I'm glad you never had to perform that on me as a child. Though I do remember choking on a hot dog once during my birthday.
Did I come to your rescue, or did I just...
Probably Dad did.
Yeah.
You probably left the room and said, I'm not dealing with this.
Yeah.
Or, she's clearly just coughing.
Yeah.
She did, though, one time. So we were at this hotel pool swimming, and she let me take my swimmies off, like the things that go on your arms that little kids wear to keep afloat. And I do remember, this is another childhood thing that you just remember because it was traumatic. I mean, it was scary, but I can feel myself there. But I remember I disassociated, and I remember feeling like I floated out to the deep end of the pool and then came to and was like, oh, I'm in the deep end. I can't actually swim. And so my mom, to just put a side note here, does not swim. She's on the side of the pool, probably reading a book with her jeans on. Is this when you had a mushroom cut?
I never passed.
She had a mushroom cut.
I never passed advanced beginners in swimming because I couldn't dive.
Yeah, but you could die probably.
Yeah.
So she had to jump in because I was starting to drown, and she jumped in full denim into the hotel pool to save me with her watch on, I remember.
Probably the Bill Blass watch.
Yeah, probably. Maybe that's
another
why
episode.
Probably that's why it wasn't working. But anyway, she saved my life that day.
I did.
Yeah. But she did end up, a few years later, dropping me off at a religious summer camp when I had a horrible cold, and I had to do an immediate swim test, and I could barely breathe.
But you passed.
I did pass, but then she forgot to pick me up at the end of the week. And she left me without a pillow. So I had to sleep with my sweatshirt.
I didn't forget to pick you up. I got mistaken on the time. I thought I was supposed to pick you up at, 2.
I was the last one at camp.
And you were
I
the
thought
last
she
one
was never coming.
With the cooks, and this is before cell phones and stuff, probably.
Yeah. She was never going to come and get me.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Thanks for bringing that up.
Yeah, you're welcome.
At the end of this uplifting episode. Appreciate it.
Also, the friend that wanted me to go to this religious summer camp, just mind you, we're not religious. It was just a pure, probably a week off for me. It was expensive, though.
Your grandmother paid for it.
Yeah. But my friend that wanted me to go with her ended up going home because she was homesick. So I was there at a religious Bible camp alone with... And I had to go to... They had like a church, an outdoor church at night there that I had to go to. And like, it wasn't familiar to me. Like, that's not a familiar feeling to me.
I'm sorry. Have we headed into therapy here? Yikes, I wasn't prepared for this. I don't have a folder on this.
No, but actually, honestly, overall, the camp wasn't heavily... Like, it didn't feel heavily religious. We did, like, ropes course.
Okay, you're making me feel better.
Yeah. And, like, we made bracelets and tie-dye shirts.
I'm sorry I was late.
I'll never forgive you.
I know, I felt terrible. You're just waiting outside the kitchen with the cooks cleaning up.
Honestly, the worst part about that was not having a pillow.
Yeah, I'd forgotten that part, obviously. But accidental bad mother.
You are a good mom.
Okay, thanks.
At least you still got me. You didn't leave me there with the cooks.
Yep.
I could have been making a podcast with some cooks now who had taken me on as their child.
Oh my gosh, it would be.
My cook's diary.
There's a famous short story that I can't think of right at the moment where. It's the ransom of somebody, but it's basically this kid who's a really bad actor gets kidnapped, and the kidnappers just want ransom, and the parents won't pay the ransom. They want the kid back. So that's
it could have been it.
That's
yeah.
what you reminded me of.
Also, my favorite childhood book was Mother, Mother, I Want Another. How did that make you feel? Well, ultimately, the story is like he tries all these moms and then ends up with his mom because his mom was the best.
Thank you for saying that.
Yeah, that's the whole moral of the story. Because all those other moms sucked.
Don't say that.
Sorry, they were good moms.
Yeah.
They were good moms. I'm sorry.
All right, well...
Enough true confessions for one day.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you.
Are you... You want to end
We
it?
never know how to end it.
I know,
Both of us need to learn how to exit more gracefully.
Yeah, any tips?
From me, or who are you asking?
The world, the people.
Okay. Because
the 3 people that are
you,
listening to
you
this.
hijacked my Heimlich story right from the beginning.
Yeah, I didn't...
With a quick ending. She did, what did you say? She did
I was trying to do a segue.
On someone who didn't choke. Ruined the whole thing.
Yeah, sorry. I would have been pissed at you if you did that to me.
Yeah. I would have been upset with you.
I would have been pissed off.
Yeah.
All right. You would have been upset with me? You're trying to correct how I'm saying it? Or you're saying you would have been upset with me? Because it did happen.
I would have been.
I'm going to be hearing about this for the next week.
Mildly upset with you.
Okay. Well, I would have been pissed off.
On that note.
Bye.
Bye.